All right, I just got a quick question before we get started. Just a quick question. I know I got a lot of people up top. I hope I can see everybody. Do me a huge favor. The only reason you should have your cell phone out is because you're about to take notes, all right? And I'm telling you to take notes because I guarantee you it's something that I'm gonna say in terms of my experience that's gonna help you guys get to the next level. So do me a quick favor. I just want you to raise your hand if everybody in this room, you have a dream, you have a goal, there's something you're trying to accomplish in your life. Raise your hand for me. All right, so do me a favor. We're gonna start all over again. Got a lot of hands. I don't know who was serious, who wasn't serious. I'm gonna ask you again, but this time I want you to do me a favor. This time when I ask you what your dreams or your goals are, I kind of want you to like go in the future for me, go about 10 years from now, and I want you to kind of envision yourself like whatever it is you're doing, I want you to kind of envision yourself doing that, right? And then when you get to that, I'm gonna count to 3, and just in your mind, when you see yourself, whatever that home is that you wanna live in, whatever career you want, whatever kind of life you wanna live, I kind of want you to think about that. And when I ask you if you have a goal, once you get that thought in your mind, then I want you to raise your hand at that point. All right? So on 3, if you're in this room and you have a dream or you have a goal, I want you to think about that. And on 3, after you've thought about what that dream and that goal is, I want you to raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. All right. So let's get started. So I want to start by saying, and when they were asking me about my bio, I don't really like for people to read the bio. First of all, because it's boring. I don't know who made it up. Matter of fact, I called my administrative assistant the other day. I was like, we need a new bio. Like, that's boring. Like, I heard it the other day. I was like, terrible. Who wrote that? All right. And what my accomplishments are is really not important. All right. But what's important is I stand here today, and when I finish talking to you about my life, I'm here today to tell you that if you're bold enough to have a dream, if you're bold enough to believe in that dream, there's absolutely nothing that you can't accomplish, all right? Nothing. All right, so I always start my story with, my mother was 17 years old when she got pregnant. I didn't start talking to my biological father until I was 30 years old. I'm a high school dropout, and it took me 12 years to get a 4-year degree. All right, so listen to me very closely. This is important. I am a professional failure, all right? I'm a professional failure. All right, and this is important. And let me tell you why I say I'm a professional. Because not only am I a high school dropout, guys, but my father was a high school dropout. And not only was my father a high school dropout, my grandfather was a high school dropout. And my father had 5 children by about 5 different women. And my grandfather had multiple children by different women as well. And so when I tell you I'm a failure, like I was born, and when I was born, elementary school, middle school, high school, I was never most likely to succeed, right? When I got my GED and I came to college, Huntsville, Alabama, I went to Oakwood University. Listen to me very closely. When I got to Oakwood, there was no professor that looked at me and said, this kid is most likely to succeed, and one day he's going to be talking for the NFL, he's going to be training people in NBA, he's going to be working and doing voiceovers for Major League Baseball. Like, his voice will be the voice that you hear on television. Like, nobody would ever told you that I would write a book. Nobody, listen to me, nobody ever said that about me. And this is why when I first started, I asked you to do me a favor. I asked you, what's your dream and what's your goal? Because this is what I've discovered, guys. As long as you have a dream and a goal, the only person that you need to believe in that dream and goal is you. And if you're brave enough to believe in that goal, there's absolutely nothing you can't accomplish, all right? So I'm gonna ask you one more time. For those of you, you could literally see that dream. You could see yourself 10 years from now. You saw yourself in that practice as a doctor or a lawyer. You saw yourself as a nurse. You saw yourself as a teacher, whatever it was. I want you to do me a favor again, raise your hand, guys. All right, raise your hand. You can see that vision. You can see that vision. You can see that vision. Raise your hand. You can see that vision. All right. Now, there's one thing you have to do for me, and you got to preserve that vision. All right. Everybody say on 3, begin with the end in mind. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's stop. Y'all got to do me a huge favor, all right? Like, you have to say it like you believe it, all right? So on 3, I want you to say, to begin with the end in mind. 1, 2, 3. Good. Again, 1, 2, 3. All right, good. So we're just going to say begin with the end in mind. 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm getting there, but I'm telling you, I really need energy. I need you to believe it. So just, I know you don't know the person next to you, so you're not trying to be embarrassed, but just pretend like nobody's sitting next to you, and I just need you to come from here. 1, 2, 3. Good. All right. So let's get started. All right, so I was about 16 years old, and a good friend of mine, he invited me to church. Listen to me, guys, I was homeless. Listen to me, I was homeless. So you have rappers, and they got these great lyrics. I don't know if it's the truth or not. They're just rapping to be rapping, trying to sell records. But one of the songs this year, one of the raps that came out this year that I could really appreciate, the artist said, we started from the bottom, now we're here. I like it. All right, sound like you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I love it, right? When I first heard it, I'm like, okay, this kid's from Toronto. I don't really know if Toronto's the bottom or not. I'm not 100% sure. I know he was like on TV as an actor. I don't really know what that means when he said he's from the bottom. But listen to me. Number one, this is important. Eric Thomas started from the bottom. I was homeless. I was a high school dropout. And when I say I was homeless, like, I'm not making something up. I literally lived in Detroit in the winter in abandoned buildings. I literally ate out of trash cans, right? And my life changed the day a friend of mine invited me to church. Now, we're not even talking about religion right now, but when he invited me to church, the pastor specifically asked me, he said, kid, what's your dream? So just like I asked you what your dreams were, what your goals were, the first thing he asked me was, what's your dream? What's your goal? And I'll be honest, at 17, I didn't have a dream. I didn't have a goal. That's why I dropped out of school. I got tired of going to school because I was going from 8 to 3 and I wasn't doing anything. I was barely passing it. Some classes I didn't even pass. And so he said to me, he said, kid, let me say something to you. You don't know me, but I'm trying to tell you that you have a gift. That you have a gift to speak, that you are a leader, that you have charisma, and one of these days, son, you're gonna do great things. And so he said to me, are you still in school? And I said, no. Let me tell you something. He said something that blew my mind. He said, I want you to get your GED, and I want you to go to college. That was two things. The first thing he said was, I want you to get your GED. I want you to have a short-term goal. Something that you can do in the next 3 months, the next 6 months. And then I want you to go to college, something that will consume the next 4 or 5 years of your life, right? And this was deep. Like this guy, when he told me to go to college, when he said you've got greatness in you, when he said you're going to do great things in this world, he was talking to a high school dropout. He was talking to somebody that was homeless. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, when he told me that I would be who I am today, I didn't even believe him. And so I came back to church the next week, and he said to me, did you go get your GED? I said, no, sir, I didn't get my GED. And so I came to church the next week. And when I came back the next week, he asked me, did you get your GED? And I said, I told you last week I didn't get my GED. So like, why would you ask me a week later if I told you last week I didn't have my GED? And so I came back the next week. And when I came back the next week, he asked me the exact same question. He said, kid, there's greatness in you. Do you have a dream? Do you have a goal? You need to get out of the city of Detroit. You're going to be a great person. You're going to do great things. Did you get your GED? I said, no, sir, I didn't get my GED. And I'm going to tell you for the last time, I'm not going to get my GED. So listen to me, guys. I love it. Every single week I came to church, even without my GED, he kept asking me the same question. Did you get your GED? Nope. So he did something special. Guys, I don't know how many of you have ever been to like a Baptist church or he did something special. He put the first lady on me. Listen to me, guys. The first lady was different. Like, he was very aggressive. Did you get your GED? No, sir. But when he put his wife on me, she asked me, did you get your GED, baby? I said, no, ma'am. Right, it was different, right? She put the baby, did you get your GED? I said, no, ma'am. She gave me a great big hug. She kissed me on my cheek. She says, I love you. Go get your GED. So I came back the next week, and I'm gonna be honest, them hugs started to wear me out. Like, she started to break me down, guys. She started to break me down. And so eventually, about 3 or 4 months later, she asked me, did I get it? And I said no, but I felt bad. I felt like I was letting her down. Listen to me very closely. This is why it's important to have a dream. Because when you have a dream, what happens is you start doing what you guys are doing. When you have a dream, you start getting in the right environment. And I want you to know that Calhoun Community College, you are in the right environment to make every single dream, every single goal. When I ask you what your dreams were and you start to imagine in your mind what you wanted to do, how you wanted to live, where you want to be, what you want to do with your life, listen to me very closely. Whatever you're dreaming of, there is somebody in this world who went to this institution, who started in this institution, and they are exactly where they want to be in life because they started here, and if they can do it, you can do it. And so watch me very closely. It's okay, you can clap, I'm sorry. I go real fast, so I don't give you a chance to clap. I apologize. Next time you clap, I'll stop. All right. So watch this, guys. About 3-4 weeks later, I started dating a girl in church. We're talking about being in the right environment. I started dating a girl in church, and she said to me, I just found out I'm graduating from high school, and I'm going to college in Huntsville, Alabama. And if you don't go with me, I'm gonna break up with you because I will no longer date a high school dropout. Now listen to me, guys, you gotta put yourself in the right environment. And what makes Calhoun Community College a great environment is that now you're gonna have some people who are gonna help you to be accountable for your dreams and your goals. Like, listen to me, you're not gonna have to do it by yourself. You're gonna have counselors, you're gonna have professors, you're gonna have a staff of people who are going to hold you accountable for doing what you said you were going to do. And so she came to me 4 or 5 weeks after we were dating, and she says, I'm going to college, and if you don't get your GED, I'm not going to wait for you because I want to date somebody who knows where they're going. And listen to me, my mother couldn't get me to do it. The counselors couldn't get me to do it. The teachers couldn't get me to do it. But when Sister Girl said, I'm gonna break up with you if you don't get your GED, I went, I studied, I got my GED, and I've been married to her for 23 years, guys. So listen to me very closely. This is important. You are in the right place at the right time. Amen. Listen to me. You are in the right place at the right time. You can clap for that. Listen to me. You are in the right place at the right time. But here's the challenge. I was just talking to the Detroit Lions the other day, and I was saying to the Lions 2 seasons ago, you guys were 10-6. Last season, you were 4-12. We're not really sure if you were a 10-6 team or a 4-12 team. But this season will determine if 10-6 was a fluke or if you were really a 4-12 season. But this is your moment. This is your time to prove to the world if you say you're champions. This is the year to prove if you're a champion. Listen to me very closely, guys. You're in the right place. You are in the right place at the right time. There are still some people who are just dreaming. They haven't made a move. There are some people who are just wishing. They haven't made a move. There are some people who are just hoping. They haven't made a move. What makes you special and what makes this time unique is that you're no longer dreaming about it. You're no longer talking about it. You have put yourself in a position to be great. And so you got to do me a favor. You got to do me a favor. The first thing I told you was, I want you to begin with the end in mind. Why do I want you to begin with the end in mind? The reason why I want you to begin with the end in mind is because I'll never forget, before I did my first NFL team, the Miami Dolphins, last year, before I spoke ever to my first NFL team, I remember saying to the world, everybody I would meet, I remember saying, I'm going to consult for the NFL. Somebody says, E.T., has the NFL called you yet? Nope. E.T., has any player tweeted you or Facebook and suggested that you come? Nope. E.T., have you ever been close to an NFL team? Nope. Well, how in the world are you going to say that you're going to work for the NFL and nobody's ever called you? I said the reason why, number one, is because the only person that needs to believe in my dream, the only person that needs to see my dream, The only person is me. And so if I believe it and I speak it, if I believe that it's going to happen and I speak it into existence and I go where I'm supposed to go and do what I'm supposed to do, it will eventually happen. And 6 months later, I got a call from the Miami Dolphins. Listen to me, guys. And when I got to the Miami Dolphins and I began to speak to the Miami Dolphins, I told the Miami Dolphins, listen to me, I'm so grateful for the opportunity because what you just did for me was you opened up a door. And while I'm excited to speak to you, what I've done in my home is I put up all 30 teams in the NFL and I just checked Miami Dolphins off, and now I'm going to check every other team off every single year. So you guys got to do me a favor. Number 2, listen to me. First, I want you to begin with the end in mind. But then what I want you to do for me is I want you to put your goals up on the wall. I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be a registered nurse. I'm going to work at this hospital. I'm going to work in this particular unit. I'm going to work in this particular city, in this particular state. I'm going to help this group of people. Listen to me. I want you to get so brave. I want you to be so bold. I just want you to put it up there. And let me tell you what happens. After I did the NFL, guess what? The NBA called. And then after the NBA call, listen to me, once they open the door for you, it's your response. Listen to me. All they have to do is crack the door. Once they crack the door, boom, you got to kick it wide open. Listen to me. Hear what I'm telling you. When they crack the door, you are at a great institution. You can go anywhere. Listen to me. You can go. There's somebody in this room, you want to go to Harvard. You can go to Harvard from Calhoun Community College. There's somebody in this room, you want to go to Cornell. You can go to Cornell. Listen to me, from Calhoun Community College. There's somebody, you're saying, man, I want to go to Princeton. You can go. Somebody said, I want to go to Auburn. Listen to me. Somebody said, I want to go to Alabama. You can go wherever you want to go because the door has been opened for you. Now you got to kick that sucker in. And so they messed up. And the Miami Dolphins gave me an opportunity. And after the Miami Dolphins, it was the St. Louis Rams. And after the St. Louis Rams, it was the Detroit Lions. And after the Detroit Lions, it was the Chicago Bears. And after Chicago Bears, it's the Indianapolis Colts. And after the Indianapolis Colts, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You got an opportunity of a lifetime, guys. It's not their responsibility to do the work for you. Listen to me. It's not their responsibility to do the work for you. But now that they've given you an opportunity, you have to take advantage of the opportunity. All right? So, E.T., how do you take advantage of the opportunity? I'll be honest with you guys. About 3 or 4 years ago, I did a video called When You Want to Succeed as Bad as You Want to Breathe, the story of the guru. And when that video first hit 1 million, and then it hit 2 million, and then it hit 3 million, I realized it was an opportunity of a lifetime. And I want to share something with you real quick, because my next one, you got to write this one down. You have to take advantage of an opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. All right, I'll say it again. I'm going to say it slow. Write it down. You have to take advantage of an opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. Let me show you what I mean. So the video came out, guys, and I was smart. I watched the first 500,000, 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million. I said, ooh, that's an opportunity of a lifetime. I started going to malls and people recognize me. I started going to the airport and people recognize me. I would be in the library talking and somebody say, I heard that voice before. Aren't you the guy that did the? And God said to me, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, son. A door has opened up for you and now you got to kick it in. And so it started with my voice on a video and I said, ooh, I got an opportunity of a lifetime. A window is open. So I need to turn the voice into a book. Amen. And I wrote a book, y'all, and watch this. Y'all gonna get excited about this. I told you I'm a professional failure. E.T., you wrote a book? Yep. And I failed English twice in college. Yep, listen to me. It took me 3 tries. It took me 3 tries to pass English, and I still wrote a book. Why? Because it's not failure if you learn from it. Amen. I'm going to say it again. It's not failure if you learn from it. It is only failure if you keep making the same mistake. So the first time I took English, I got an F. But the second time I took it, I got a D+. Oh, you didn't hear what I just told you. The first time I had an F minus, I came back and my friends were saying, Eric, you flunking, you should just quit the class. You're not doing any better than you did before. I said, yes, I am. The last time I got like all 30s. This time I'm getting like 45s. I'm telling you, I feel it. Every time 10% better, 20% better. I'm getting a feel for this failure thing. I got it. I know how it works. And so the third time I took it, I got a C. Listen to me very closely. It's not failure if you learn from it.
That's right. That's right.
All right, I thought somebody was going to get excited about that. It's not failure if you learn from it. Listen to me. Sometimes your breakdown is your breakthrough. And so what you have to do when you feel like you're being broken down, some things in life you just have to outlast. Some things you might not be smart enough to do it. You may not be intelligent enough to do it. You might not necessarily have the skills to do it. But what everybody in this room has, what we all have in common, is that you've been through your go-through, that life ain't been no crystal stair for you. So what I need you to do is recycle your pain. All right, let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm working on my PhD and a professor came and told me, Eric, I like you a lot, but in terms of writing, I don't think you're going to be able to get your PhD. I don't think you write well enough. And I said, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And she said, what do you mean, thank you? I just told you, you don't write well enough. I said, thank you. I understand what you mean. Where you come from, people have skills. People have money, people have resources. And so if they have enough resources and they have enough skills, then they're able to do well. Where I come from, if you don't have the skills or the resources, you do it with hearts.
That's right. Hey, hey.
And I explained to her, this student might be smarter than me. This student might have more than me, but they will not outwork me. And I'll keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again until I get it right. So you got to do me a favor, guys. You got to learn how to fail forward. So I wrote a book. Terrible English and all. I wrote a book. Let me tell you why my book is so successful. Because I'm so dumb. When I wrote the book, everybody can understand it. No, I'm being honest with you, right? Some people are so smart when they write it, nobody understands anything they say, right? They just have to put it on the shelf. Listen to me very closely. You got to get this one, guys. I told you anything you could dream of. Anything you could dream of in this room right now. I didn't start with my life. I started with your life. Anything you can dream of, you can do. And so we wrote the book and we sold 20,000 copies. And then we sold another 5,000 copies. Listen to me. We made almost $750,000 off a book in a year and a half as a high school dropout. Listen to me, 12 years to get a 4-year degree. But you know what I love about the degree? When you get it, it doesn't say how long it took you to get the degree. The guy who graduated in 4 years, the magna cum laude, summa cum laude, whatever the laudes are, I'm not 100% sure. I've never gotten close to one of them. But the kid who graduated with that, he finished 8 years before me. Guess what? When I got the degree, we got the same degree. And I'm accomplishing things in my life that the guy who graduated summa cum laude he would never do. Why? Because there's some things that intelligence can't get you to. There's some things being smart can't get. Some things you got to be resilient. And the reason why I know you guys are going to be okay is because you have the ability that no matter what happens while you're here, you have the ability to bounce back. All right? So my next one, you got to get this one, guys. I'm getting out of here. My next one is you got to do me a huge favor. You've got to raise the level of your expectations. All right? You got to do me a huge favor. Eric, what do you mean when you say raise the level of your expectation? This is what I mean. Somebody in this room, I'm not playing. Somebody in this room is going to Auburn. Somebody in this room is going to Alabama. Somebody in this room is going to Harvard. Somebody in this room, you're going to Cornell. Somebody in this room, MIT. Listen to me. Somebody in this room, you're going to blow your own mind. Let me tell you something. I want you to do me a huge favor. Never, ever settle. Don't let a teacher make you settle. A professor, a family member, a friend, don't ever settle. This is what I'm telling you. My mother was 17 years old when she had me. Unfortunately, when my mother graduated, my grandmother kicked her out because my grandmother had 14 children, and my grandmother said, I can't feed another mouth. My mother was not able to go to college because she got pregnant with me. My mother barely finished high school. My biological father is in his 60s, and he still doesn't have his GED. So when I finally got my GED, I thought I was on top of the world. I was like, whoa, I got my GED. I finished high school. I did better than most of my friends that I grew up with. I did better than most of the people in my neighborhood. I had a GED. But the pastor looked at me and he said, Eric, don't settle. We're going to help you. We're going to give you some money and we're going to send you to Huntsville, Alabama. We're going to send you to college. And I'll never forget, it took me 12 years to get that 4-year degree. And when I got it, my pastor, James Doggett, he said to me, Eric, you're not finished yet. You need to go to get your master's degree. And out of nowhere, Michigan State University said, we will pay for you to come to this institution. We just want you to come and get a degree from Michigan State University. You're from Detroit. Come home. We'll pay for you to get. And I said, I don't know. I'm scared. And they said, what are you afraid of? I said, in the master's program, all you do is read and write. And I hate reading and I hate writing. For real. I've never been good at reading. I've never been good at writing. Never settle. I've never been good at reading or writing. And so they said, don't worry about it. If you come, we're paying for it. If you fail, it won't cost you a dime to fail. And so I went. I took the first class and it was hard, but I learned my lesson, guys. Get this from me if you don't get anything else. If you want to be successful in life, sometimes you just got to show up. And so I showed up to every single class. Listen to me very closely. I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. Well, Eric, how did you graduate with a 3.7 GPA in the master's program when you got kicked out of Oakwood with a 1.7 GPA? I did something different when I got to Michigan State. I showed up to every class. Listen to me, guys. I showed up to every class and I sat up front. And when the professor would come in, even if I didn't know what she was talking about, I would shake my head. Yes, that's deep. I love it. Right? I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm like, that's pretty deep right there. Pretty interesting right there. And so I'll never forget, the teacher kept calling on Todd, and she kept calling on Todd, and Todd would give an answer, and she would smile. And so I got with Todd after class, and I said, Todd, you're pretty smart. I want to spend some time with you. I need help. And so Todd said, Eric, this is all you got to do. Come to class, sit up front, get a body language. Like, I changed the way I dressed. I started wearing loafers and cargo shorts, Abercrombie and Fitch. Like, I changed up my whole game, guys. I started sitting up front. I started reading before I got to class. Listen to me, I never read before. I started studying before I got. He said, if you think you want to pass, you need to read the chapter before you get here. So when you get here and she's teaching, you'll already know what she's talking about. Listen to me, it's crazy. And I started doing little small stuff like that. It's crazy, guys. And then I started going to the professor hours. I didn't even know what to do. I just showed up. She's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. You open, so I'm here. I'm not really sure what I want, but just here's my paper. Take a look at it. And she would give me my paper back with a whole bunch of red, like somebody bled all over my paper. But you know what? I turned it in early. She gave it back. I gave it back. She gave it back. I revised it one more time. She gave it back. Boom, 3.7 GPA. So listen to me very closely, guys. I need you to do me a huge favor. A huge favor. You can have whatever you want. All that stuff you dreamed about is yours. All that stuff you saw yourself driving, the way you saw yourself living, everything you see yourself doing as a professional, everything is yours. But you can't say on this side, this is what I want, but on this side, you're not willing to make the sacrifices and do the things it requires to get those things. And so if you're willing to get up early, if you're willing to go to class early, if you're willing to come to every single class, do every single assignment, if you're willing to read every single page, if you're willing to put in 120% effort, there's absolutely nothing you can't have, nothing you can't do. And I'm not telling you what I read, I'm telling you as a high school dropout, somebody that took 12 years to get a 4-year degree of what I'm doing, because one day the real Eric Thomas showed up and I started putting forth effort and I saw everything in my life change. All right? So here's my last story, guys. I need you to do me a favor. Never settle. Shh. So I got the master's, I wrote a book, I'm finishing a PhD, and I hate school. No, guys, you gotta hear me. I hate school. I hate the long hour. Somebody said, well, why are you working on a PhD? You're a motivational speaker. You don't need a PhD. Why are you going to school if you don't like school? Can I tell you guys the truth? While I hate school, what I've discovered is sometimes in life, you have to do what you don't wanna do so you can live like you wanna live. All right, I'll say it again because some of you didn't catch me. I hate school. So if you hate school, why are you working on a PhD? Because sometimes in life, You have to do what you don't want to do, what you don't like to do, so you can live like you want to live. All right? All right, so my final one, guys, and just forgive me, I'm a little different. I have 2 children, but I've always wanted a daughter. My grandmother had 14 children, 11 females. My father wasn't in my life. Most of my uncles weren't in my life. I was pretty much raised by females, and so I wanted a daughter. But karma, I had a son first. I named him a different name, thinking that he would be a different person. I should have just named the boy Eric. Right? But my second child, I did it. I had her, Jada Ariane Thomas. I had her. Apple of my eye, my daughter. And so I'll never forget, guys, 4th grade maybe, 3rd grade, 4th grade, I went to pick my daughter up from school. And you're talking about, I'm the kind of father that when my son is getting into a fight, he'll cry. When he was a kid, I say, son, suck it up and go back out there and fight again. And this time you better win. But when I see my daughter crying, oh guys, you had to be there. I get worked up even telling the story. She was in the 4th grade, guys, 3rd or 4th grade. And you know how it is when you pick up your kids from elementary school, they don't call them by their name, that's a number. She was number 4 that year, number 4. And so when I would drive up, I had to pick out my little thing, number 4. Right? And they would call, number 4 to the front, please, number 4 to the front. And guys, number 4 came out crying. And I was like, what's wrong with my baby? She was crying, guys. I said, what's wrong with my baby? And I'm talking about the cry, like it's illegal now, but when my grandmother used to whip us, that's illegal now. But like I wish I grew up in this area. My grandma would be in jail right now. You know what I'm talking about? When you would do something bad, your grandma make you go get the switch. It's like, how in the world is it legal for you to make me go get the weapon you're about to whip me with? So my grandma would be upset. Now go get the switch. And so we would go, me and my cousins, get the small switch, come back. Grandma already had the other switches already right there waiting with the rubber bands on them, right? And grandma would take a switch and she'd hit us with the switch and you could hear like the wind, like whoosh. And then it would hit you right there and all your skin would be removed from right there. And you remember it hurt so bad when you cried, nothing came out, you was like, right? And about 30 seconds later, it was like uncontrollable. And grandma would have the nerve to say, you better stop crying before I give you something to cry about. And I'm like, grandma, you just gave me something to cry about. So look, guys, my daughter's crying like that. She's like, and so I'm getting out the car. I'm putting it in park, and I'm jumping out like the Matrix. I'm going real slow. I'm grabbing my belt, like, and I'm like, just point to the little man, whoever hit you. Just point to him, and I'm gonna kill him. And when I got up to my daughter, I'm looking for the little boy to whip, and she said, Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm like, whoa, what happened? What's wrong? She said, I'm sorry, Daddy, I didn't mean to do it. I said, what happened? She said, I got a B in math. And I said, what? I'm about to go to jail because you got a B in math? I'm about to kill little Pookie right here. I was about to kill him. And so my daughter was like, Daddy, you don't get it. I'm not going to get an Eagle Award. I'm going to get a Patriot Award. I said, what's that? That's A-B on a roll. I want all A's. And I said, well, it'll be okay. She said, well, tell that to Harvard. Right? And so my son's about 2.5 years older, same school district. I pick him up later because he's on the football team. He comes in, he kind of kicks the door open. He's got his report card, he's boom. And I'm like, yes, my man, finally, he's got good grades, yes. And he's like, Dad, behold. And I'm like, all right, so I go get his report card. He's like, stop, hold up. Before you open this report card, if I have a good report card, promise me we go out to eat. I was like, all right, what, Burger King, McDonald's? He's like, no, PF Chain. I'm like, all right, no problem, PF Chain it is. So I grab his report card, I open it up, and I'm like, son, you got all C's. He was like, yeah, baby, yeah, and I'm still on the football team. I said, son, but you got a C- in English. He said, but I got a C+ in gym. That balanced all that out right there, Dad. Listen to me very carefully, guys, as we get ready to close this up. Listen to me very carefully. When I ask elementary kids, when I tell them the story, and I ask middle school kids, and I ask high school kids, who's the smartest, my son or my daughter? Most kids say, your daughter. But can I be honest with you guys? That's not the truth. My daughter's in high school, and my daughter goes to class early almost every day. She stays after lunch to meet with her teachers. She stays after school to meet with her teachers. My daughter has to work hard to get the grades that she has to get. My son has never, ever had to work hard when he has made up his mind. When my son makes up his mind, listen to me, the kid was struggling his sophomore year in high school, and he's dreamed about going to Michigan State. And I worked there. I said, son, this is the GPA you got to have. These are the things you have to do. I don't know what happened, but his junior year, when he realized that he was not going to be able to go to his dream school, I don't know what happened, but that boy took it from third gear to fourth gear to fifth gear. And when he got to high school, he took it from fifth gear and he put it in sixth gear. And the very last grade marking, he got a 3.4 GPA and barely got into the university. Listen to me, that kid could do whatever he wants to do academically when he wants to do it, but the problem is he's too talented. My daughter is not as smart, but she's got heart, she's got grind, she's got drive, she's got passion. And there's some of you in this room, you are not the best you could be. You're not performing the way you could perform. You don't have what you should have, not because you don't have it within, because you've never pushed yourself. You've never given 120%. You've never given your all. You've never made up in your mind, I'm going to every class. I'm doing every assignment. I will give 120%. Be honest with me. Raise your hand right now if you can honestly say every class, every semester, every time I approach my schoolwork, every time, every single time, I give 120%. Raise your hand. Every time, be honest, raise your hand, be honest, only if you give 120%. You give 90%, raise your hand. Only if you give 90, raise your hand. Shh, it's not, no talking. Shh, no talking. Shh, no talking. 70%, raise your hand. You give 70%. Hands down. Honestly, you know you're a genius and you're only giving 50%, raise your hand. Hands down. Shh. I dare you, shh, as I leave, I dare you in this room as a high school dropout, somebody who was looking at facing jail time because I was stealing from the mall, somebody that took 12 years to get a 4-year degree. You say, E.T., what happened? How did your life change? My life changed the day I made the real Eric Thomas stand up. The day I stopped being a victim and say my daddy wasn't in my life. I grew up on the wrong side of 8 Mile. I grew up in Detroit on a street called 8 Mile, and 8 Mile was the name of the street because on one side the rich people lived, on the other side the poor people lived, and when you were poor you couldn't go on the other side. All my life I made excuses for why I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, and one day I took ownership of my life. One day I said, Eric Thomas, you are not where you want to be, not because of your father, not because of your mother, because she was a teenager. This has absolutely nothing to do with Detroit, Michigan, nothing to do with the school system. It has everything to do with the fact that you've never taken full responsibility for your life. And one day I went to God and said, I'm ready to be the real Eric Thomas. I'm ready to step up my game. I'm ready to do everything I was called to do and called to be. And I leave you with the story, just like the guru. I was that kid who went to the guru, and I went to that guru and I said, Guru, what do I need to do to be successful? And the guru said to me, that pastor mentored me, and he said to me in essence, Eric Thomas, meet me at 4 o'clock in the morning at the beach. And the young man says to the guru, I told you I wanted to be successful. I didn't say I wanted to wake up that early in the morning. Can we do it at 6:30 or can we do it at 7? And the guru looks at the young man and he says, if you want to be successful, meet me at 4 o'clock in the morning. And what he was saying to him is, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. If you want something different, you got to do something different. And if you want something different, you got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And so the young man makes up in his mind that night that he's going to do whatever it takes to be successful. He'll change his mind. He'll change his habits. He'll change whatever he needs to change because he's tired of living the way he's living. He's tired of being second class. He's tired of being second best. And he wants everything life has to offer. And so he goes to bed early and he wakes up early. early, and he meets the guru at 4 o'clock in the morning. And he's got on a suit, and he's got on dress shoes and dress socks. And the guru says to him, young man, where we're going, you're not going to need a suit. Take it off. He said, what do you mean? He says, we're going into the ocean. I want you to walk out to the ocean. He says, why do you want? He said, don't worry about why. Just follow me. Just trust me. But take off all that stuff. Listen to me. For those of you who in this room, you've been called to destiny. You've been called to greatness. Listen to me. You are a royal priesthood. You are a chosen generation. But to get to that next level, guys, you're going to have to take some stuff off. And he had to take off the suit. He had to take off the tie. He had to take off his shoes to walk in that water. And some of you want to go up without giving up. You want to go to the next level. You want to do things you've never done, see things you've never done, taste the things you've never tasted. You want to experience a different life, but you want to hold on to the old, and yet you want to experience the new. And there's some stuff you're going to have to take off. There's some stuff you're going to have to let go of. There's some stuff you're going to have to give up to go to that next level. And so he takes it all off. And he's saying to himself, I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to swim. It's dark. Nobody's out here but me and this guru. He could kill me, but I got to take the risk. Listen to me. They're asking you to do things you've never done. As I close, professors are going to ask you to do some things that you've never done before. They're going to ask you to stretch yourself in ways you've never stretched yourself before. They're going to ask you to think in ways you've never thought before. They're going to challenge you in ways that you've never been challenged before, and it is going to hurt, but no pain, no gain. And so he walks out in the water. He walks out in the water, and I walked out in the water. I left Detroit, Michigan, the north, and I moved 700 miles away, Huntsville, Alabama, to a place I had never been to before. I left my mother and my sisters. I left my grandmother and my cousins and my friends. I took a risk and came in that water. 1989, I took that risk, and I drove to Huntsville, Alabama. And so the guru said, come out further into the water. It's not enough that you're in the water, come further. And so he went, and the water was cold on his feet. And then the water went to his ankles, and then it went to his knees, and then it went to his waist. And he was thinking like, I don't know if I should have done this or not. Some of you are saying to yourself, I don't know if I should have gotten this nursing program. I don't know if I should have gotten this communications program. I don't know if I should have came to Calhoun. It's too hard. It's difficult. I didn't know it was going to be this difficult. Listen to me. If it was easy to be successful, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody, if degrees were easy, they would give them away. And that's why people value them so much, because you got to go through something to get to it. And so he looked at him in his face. He didn't say a word. He just stared at his soul, asking, do you really want to be successful? And so the young man kept going, and it hit his shoulders. And then he got nervous. The water hit his throat. And just when it hit his chin, it got in his mouth. He said, I can't do it no more. And he began to walk away. And as he began to walk away, the guru grabbed him by the back of his neck. He took his leg and put it around his neck. He put his head under the water. And the young man was underwater. He was being cool. 10 seconds. He didn't say a word. He's going to let me go 20 seconds. I know this is a joke. He's going to stop 30 seconds. And yet the guru still has him submerged underwater, teaching him that when you want to go to the next level, you got to go all in. You can't give 70%. You can't give 80%. You can't give 90%. You've got to give 120 or nothing at all. So he's submerged underwater, teaching him you got to give everything you got. And so 40 seconds go by, and he sees his whole life flash in front of him. 50 seconds go by, and he's thinking, that's it, I'm dead. 60 seconds go by just when he thinks he has absolutely no more breath. The guru raises him from the water. Oh man, you try to kill me. You try to kill me. He said, I didn't try to kill you, young man. I taught you the secret to success. I taught you the secret to success. He says, you didn't teach me the secret to success. What is the secret to success? He said, when you were underwater, there was only one thing you wanted to do. That wasn't play video games. That wasn't go to parties. That wasn't watching TV. That wasn't talking on the phone. That wasn't texting. No, that wasn't sleeping. No, when you were underwater, there was only one idea you had, only one focus you had. When you were underwater, what was it that you wanted to do? He says, well, to be honest, when I was underwater, all I wanted to do was breathe. He said, when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, when you raise your hand, whatever that goal was, whatever that dream was, whatever it is you thought to yourself you wanted to do, you can do it, but you can't do that and play at the same time. You can't do that and give half effort at the same time. If you want all your dreams and all your goals to become a reality, you gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. And you can't kind of want it. You can't sometimes want it. You've gotta be all in and want it every single minute, every single second. So do me a favor, don't be average, don't be good, be great, be phenomenal, or be forgotten. That's my time. Thank you.